Hey guys, wanted to talk through a game that was honestly pretty unwinnable that I ended up winning and kind of wanted to talk through how I was able to get to that point where really, like I said, took a terrible early game, terrible trinket choices, and was able to pull out a win. So in the game, I'm playing Tamsin. The general way that I like to play Tamsin is I play like six strong units and then one like shop float buff kind of spot. And what you can do is use your hero power with the six strong units, and you have five units that are like double strong units. But yeah, like I said, just really terrible early game. Um, my main things I'm trying to do is float between dragons and demons, just because they're kind of like the easiest to get like a lot of stats out of the hero power in the long term. Generally, what you can do is just I don't know. Demons themselves are just easy to buff aboard, and dragons have a little bit of synergy with Poet, Terragosa, and the Tamsin hero power. We do find the early Wrathweaver and Rewinder, so that lets us kind of float into demons a little bit. And with kind of where I'm at in the early game is my plan is like lean demons unless I find the key 4-drop dragons. And the key 4-drop dragons I'm looking for are Persistent Poet and Amber Guardian. For our lesser trinket choices, honestly, they were all kind of bad to mediocre. Trainer training certificate's pretty bad because we didn't have a Terragosa. Stein's pretty bad because one, we don't really need higher tier minions and it's no tempo. And Super Nerf Stand is also pretty bad because it just doesn't provide any tempo. So we ended up taking Book of Medivh because it was like the best out of bad trinkets, but Book of Medivh itself is pretty mediocre. It allowed us to do an early level up to 4, and like I said, the plan from here is really to try and stabilize on 4. We end up finding um, the ability to like we didn't end up I guess hitting much on this turn 7 roll down. But what we were able to do is find a potential triple that we could use the following turn. And really, it gets from here kind of like the plan is to follow what you do in most of the standard games, which is try to discover a 6 and use that as direction. And luckily, our hero power alone is a decent amount of tempo for trying to stay stable in this mid game. So going into the next turn, I think something that's like kind of important that you'll notice I do here is I get telescope, and I ended up using it before leveling. And the main reason for that is I wanted key 4-drop dragons. We ended up finding the poet, and this made it so our 6-drops, which were honestly really bad 6-drops, we had a reasonable one with the sunscreen. And what sunscreen can be used for is eventually I'll use it for giving divine shields onto my dragons. And you'll see here on turn 8, I kind of made the interesting decision between if I wanted to try and get divine shields on my dragons or try to just get some buffs. I wanted to get buffs to try and stabilize a little bit, and you'll see that it ended up taking 15 anyways and kind of sucked. Also, I guess you'll see now on turn 9, me actually use it. On turn 8, I did freeze eyes to make the poet golden, and that kind of made me have a really good payoff of I could play 2 golden poets after my greater trinket selection. So let's go over the greater trinkets. The first one was Redeemer Portrait. Honestly, we're just in a really bad spot for it. We didn't have any enablers outside of our like lesser trinket, and that's really just one spell a turn, pretty bad. Devourer Sticker, kind of similar. We just didn't have enough buffed units. We might have been able to get one okay consume off, and that would have been about it. And then Nazatar's Postcard is just bad because we didn't really have econ at all. And that's why we ended up taking Manipulator Portrait. It's honestly not the greatest with what we were at, but we had a payoff where we could make the Poet golden and use the Manipulator on that and have 2 golden Poets. So from here, kind of my plan is to try to make just 4 like big Divine Shield dragons, play the Sunscreener to help give the Divine Shields, and then the Upbeat Front Drake, which I was using as my like 6 unit to buff my board. And from here, it's kind of like your typical dragon board with Tamsin, where like you play the units and you just have the permanent buffs on the 4 units every turn. My long-term plan from here is play 4 of the buff dragons, and eventually on the last couple fights I would just not use hero power and play 3 like scam units. Turn 10 here, you saw that we had a pretty lucky coin flip. Honestly, this was probably the chance that we could have lost and not gotten a top 4, but luckily we were able to get kind of lucky and win that fight. I guess also on turn 11 we find a Terragosa, and that lets us do a little bit of a swap to the plan. So we end up being able to keep the Sunscreener for an extra turn, and with that we're able to play, instead of 4 Divine Shield big dragons, we get to play a 5th with the Terragosa. And that just, the only thing that changes is eventually our long-term plan would be, instead of playing 4 dragons, we play 5 dragons, and instead of playing 3 scam, we probably just play 2 scam. So from here, after turn 11, we have all of the Divine Shields on everything, so we're able to start getting rid of the Sunscreener and start looking for the scam. On turn 13, we had a free ghost round, and then from there, we just do the plan of finding the scam units eventually. The only thing that I guess I'll kind of point out, and I know I'll do it ahead of time in the video, and you'll see it when we actually play the actual round, but on the final round of the game, we're going against a mech player with cleaves, and you'll notice that I very intentionally put the taunts on the far left and right minions in my shop. And the reason for that is to make it so my entire board has Divine Shield at that point. So if you put the taunts on your far end, you kind of guarantee that the cleave units are only going to hit 2 of your Divine Shields off, and that just makes it so you have a little bit more scamminess to your board. And the entire point thing here is we're playing essentially scam dragons. So anyways, hopefully this is a decent lesson for how to kind of stabilize your game. Obviously we got a little bit of a bailout with the eyes plus the manipulator portrait, but like I said, this was just an absolutely terrible game in the early game, and hopefully this is kind of just a decent game for kind of keeping your mental okay during a game. It's really easy to get frustrated in these games if you don't hit in when it's early, and this is definitely a decent lesson for keeping your mental going while times are rough. So anyways, good luck out there. Good luck on your guys' climbs. See ya. Bye.
Living life, every day, late at night, not okay. All I want, and I pray, all I need are some better days. Fuck me, I'm looking in the mirror, so foggy, but I've never seen clearer. I don't really think anyone can save me, and honestly I'm not really sure I want saving. I like to be my own worst enemy. There's no risk if you don't try at anything, so I'ma just keep buying everything. See you in the next life, have to be a better me. I don't think that my head's on straight, gotta flip it and grip it and go and get an x-ray. What's wrong with me? I just feel weight pushing on my chest and it squeezes till I suffocate. Better change my mindset, meditate. It's pretty cool that I'm alive and have better days. I could walk, see, hear, I should celebrate. Think I could change my mind, maybe elevate. Living life, every day, late at night, not okay. All I want, and I pray, all I need are some better days. Yeah, all I need are some better days. Cause all I want, and I pray, I believe in the better days. I'm kinda stuck between a rock and a hard place. Do I work hard or live at my pace? You're only young once, yeah that's all great, but I also want a future where I'm okay. Living life is doing lots of cocaine. Wait no, it's living with no shame. Wait no, it's sleeping in on Sundays. I guess it's different for each of us and that's okay. Well I just wanna be happy, how to get there? Glad that you asked me. I think it's different for everyone. Some of us need work, others need fun. Some of us need purpose to overcome. But try to do what you love when it's said and done. Cause there's so many differences in each of us. Trust your gut, it can show you what you want. Living life, every day,